Yep, we're on. So we're now making our YouTube, so you can go ahead and chat while I get the Facebook Live set up. You can introduce us into it. I'll be like the voice behind back here.
Sounds good.
All right.
I'm Donny T. West, co-host and better half of the Greg and Donny News Show. I'm the agitator the Republican Party loves to hate. Greg, how about yourself?
I'm still getting our Facebook thing going here. Let me see. I'm going to add a description. So anybody that wants, well, they can't hear us, right? So let me say
While we wait on the Facebook, Greg's counterpart.
I think we start early. We got time, you know.
Yeah,
like
sure.
We worked it out last week that my memory card has like a gazillion amount of bits in it so we can make the video. This is the Facebook Live is actually the limiting one, which is all these new things we're learning.
Yeah,
it's fascinating. You know, for a couple of low-tech guys. And are you a high-tech guy?
Not
where do you stand? But your generation, don't you have like the gene that just allows you to...
Must have missed me. Anyway, we're live from the Fish House, the site that will, where in a couple hours, Matt Gaetz, Ron DeSantis, and Jim Jordan are going to have a rally. Some of my favorite people. I know I'm going to love it.
You're going to have a great time. You're just a conservative in the making. You just haven't realized it yet.
Let's see about that.
That's okay.
All right, we're almost ready on the Facebook front.
Yeah, so I'd love to tell people to tune into Facebook Live, but that won't work because we're here right now. So let's get you in here, and let's get a little bit of me in here. Let me start the live video. And since it says we're a go, now we're live.
All right.
There we go. So we can start again.
Sounds good.
So Donny just gave a really good introduction of what's going on here. So we can look. I got to figure this out. This is I can actually do this now. So I'm Greg Penglis and that's Donny West, and we are here. We're now Facebook Live, so you can all tune in. Feel free. I've got to set on public, which I learned how to do finally. So all these different things going on. We're at the Fish House, and it's muggy out here. It's just poured rain. It's really quite fascinating, and as Donny announced on the YouTube here, we're here for the rally. It's the Freedom Rally. It's Ron DeSantis is running for governor of Florida. Matt Gaetz is running for a seat in Congress again, and Jim Jordan, who is from Ohio, and he is the head of the Freedom Caucus, and he's here, and he's running for Speaker of the House. So they've got together, and they're doing this run. They're going to be here at 10 o'clock here at the Fish House in Pensacola. Come on down. In fact, we got tables right here if anybody wants to come gather around us. We haven't been mobbed yet, so maybe we can actually. So we're releasing our locations a little earlier. It's kind of a work in progress. So that's what's going on. So we're here. So yeah, do you have some issues that you want to talk about the Freedom Rally, or do you?
Yeah, let's talk about that before we really get into it.
Okay. You don't like the name, do you?
I don't mind it.
For people who are new, just to let you know, I'm the conservative guy. I'm the logical, sensible, middle-aged former talk show host, recently employed by WBY, but has since been set free, as they say. And you?
And as I said on the YouTube, I'm the liberal agitator the Republican Party loves to hate.
Okay, sounds good. So Freedom Rally. You don't like the name. Because I knew it was going to stick in this crowd. Because why can't Democrats have freedom? Is that where you're going to go, or you got something new for me?
Yeah, I mean, I can't say I mind the name, although I really don't like the idea that they're the only ones who are for freedom.
Yeah.
I think that's an issue that they've been able to own, that the Democrats are really slacking on.
Yeah, and it's funny, and I think a lot of it has to do with your own fault. Because focusing on socialism, focusing on group rights, focusing on group identity politics, I think has done a real disservice. We got wind picking up now. So, yeah, I'm going to keep watching our cameras. If they fall over, we're obviously going to have to interrupt the broadcast. Like I say, we're out in the open out here, right by the water. It's beautiful. But think about this, Donny. Think about the identity. The conservatives, when they look at the Democrats, they're thinking, if you're not a black American, lesbian American, Asian American, illegal alien or something like that, if you don't belong to a group, it's almost like you don't count. And I think so the conservatives come along and say, well, we're for the freedom of the individual. And that's something the Democrats used to have. The ACLU used to advocate greatly. We're going to get the Patriot Act in a little bit. But the ACLU, a decidedly leftist organization, would go right with, constitutional folks, against, sort of like limits on our rights. And so you guys lost your way, and I don't know if you know how or when, or maybe you can shed some light on that.
I'd say they arguably still do.
Okay.
But I will give you that a lot of mainstream Democrats have embraced identity politics a little too much.
Yeah.
That's something I'd like to see changed. I think they are changing it.
So in your generation, do you see people talking about that? Do they say, I'd really like to be a Democrat if they wouldn't lump us all into groups, or is that not really in the conversation yet?
Not really.
Okay.
I think my generation is largely Democratic so far.
I think most generations are. I think I started off. Listen, I was Green Party at one point, dude.
Wow.
Okay, I mean, I had a big Green Party sticker on my car.
I was too.
So yeah. All right. So the Greens have some good ideas, and they have some totally wacky ideas. But that doesn't mean they shouldn't be heard.
Right.
They should be heard. The Constitution Party should be heard. We talked about this last week, how all parties, just by limiting people to what they call a third party, is a drastic limitation on our free speech. The free speech to be able to hear alternate points of view that aren't even alternate. They're just different. And so this is why we got to work on the campaigns and things like that. But so the rally's going on today. We're going to try and get in a couple of videos before it happens, and we'll see what happens. But maybe we can pull up our Facebook Live. We'll see, because I got a couple of comments here already. We'll see what's going on. But it's a nice day out here. It's Florida. So if you haven't been here in the summertime, it's muggy. It poured rain a little while ago. This whole place where we are, it's in the fish house. We're in the back deck under a big umbrella. It's going to get completely mopped in the next couple hours. So we decided to get here early. Unfortunately, nobody's here. You get on Facebook here?
Yeah.
All right.
Do you
have an issue you want to introduce? A new topic for us?
Well, before we fully move on from the rally, I don't think we've really talked about this on the show yet, but I really do think this is relevant with DeSantis being here. I think it's very likely that for the first time in years, Florida could go blue.
Oh, that's an interesting thought. Now I'll tell you about the whole blue-red thing. Do you know how that got started?
How did it start?
It used to be, back in the old days, the presidential map was blue and red. Blue for Democrats, red for Republicans. Then they'd switch the following year, red for Democrats, blue for Republicans. So that way it was fair to everybody, so you wouldn't have any color associated. And Bill Clinton came along, because Clinton is one thing I will give Bill Clinton credit for, he's a master of symbolism. Okay? And so he realized that if he could characterize the Republicans as red, they'd look socialist, and the Democrats as blue, they'd look more American. So it was, and I wish we would go back to switching back, because socialists and leftists have always been associated with red.
Well, I mean, in today's climate, you guys kind of are the Reds.
Oh, you're going to have to explain that one.
Your affiliation with Russia?
That's nonsense. You know that's nonsense. We've talked about this before. It's nonsense, okay? Mueller is a cover-up. And it's coming out, just you see that. And so you want to go to our Facebook page, okay? Don't listen to what he just said. He's wrong, all right? So you go to our Facebook page, and you'll find the Greg and Donny News Show. And I post a whole article on how Investors Business Daily, or whatever it is, has done this huge article. Gee, we might think it's Hillary all along. Well, we knew that. We knew that back in 2015 when the New York Times reported. It's raining again, folks. Live, we're here, so we're getting it. But they reported that it was Hillary with Uranium One bribed the Clinton Foundation, gave all that money. They handed that money back to Russia so they could get the dossier, the fake information through Glenn Spencer, and then go to Fusion GPS, which ended up in the FISA court, which ended up in the bogus warrants to spy on Trump. That's how that works. So to say the Russians are colluding with Trump is insane. Now, Trump's the last person they wanted. Seriously, think about it. Why would you want the person who's going to build the military? And you've already bribed one person. If you've already bribed Hillary, why would you want Trump? We may have to take a rain break. Do you think they can hear us? We don't have our technical person here. It's just us, so we don't have to. But why do you think that Trump even colluded with the Russians, and why do you think that would be of any benefit to him?
My stance on it is I don't know if he himself colluded or not. I know there was obstruction. That's been confirmed.
Obstruction in terms of what?
There was election obstruction.
What's election obstruction?
That Russia did indeed mess with our election.
Are you talking about the Facebook ads? But everybody does that.
Yeah.
Every country messes around.
The point is,
we mess with other people. Obama messed with Israel.
Right.
Obama helped elect Justin Trudeau in Canada. I mean, he messed with all these elections.
Well, as is often said, 2 wrongs don't make a right. And
that's true.
Regardless of all that, it has been essentially confirmed they did better. That's a fact. That's not deniable. But
this is what happens when you're live video. So it's getting windy, it's getting rainy. I don't know, I think we can keep going. We're just going to wait it out. I'll tell you how Florida rain works. It lasts for a couple minutes and then it goes away. At least that's what we're hoping here. We had another rain like this just a few minutes ago. So maybe we should lean into our cameras a little. Maybe we can hear us better. Are you listening to our Facebook Live?
yeah.
Okay, so we get some comments, but actually we can try. I can probably bring these up a little closer next time. If people can't hear, I'm going to take a walk. Let me see if I can read a comment. I've never actually done this during the show.
Doesn't look like we have any yet.
Couple. Okay, yeah, I'm going to watch them. So we got a rain delay. No, you know, it doesn't work. Works better where it was. Just waiting for the rain to die down a little bit. Which it should in a couple of minutes. Alright, actually, yeah. So we don't know you never know when the weather's going to be. At least we got in here before it's actually crazy. So we'll be right back for the Greg and Donny show when we think you can hear us. And so that's what's happening right now. Wait, see? It's going away already. All right. I love Florida rain. All right. So getting back
talking about Russia.
Let's get back to Russia again.
All right.
Now here's the thing that's confusing all conservatives. All right. We thought for the longest time, and actually we knew, that you guys, the Democrats, have always favored what Russia did. You know, Russian communism back in the 30s, there was a movement to bring Russian communism here through the unions. And that was a big problem.
You know, it's like I said last week.
Hold on. So this is this week's technical problem. You got to comment. You type your comments.
Looks like it's still just the people are watching.
All right.
Having trouble pulling it up. Like,
Okay. So this is what happens when you're new at technological stuff. So we're trying to get a couple of your comments here, and we got a little bit of a rain delay going on right now. We'll be back. At least we got the tripods are working. That's the main.
oh yeah.
So that's working out well too. See, this is the thing about we don't have like a time constraint. We don't have a commercial break. We can take. That would be a great time to announce we're at the Fish House.
We are.
We're at the Fish House here in Pensacola, right on the water. We're getting a ton of rain. We're under a tarp roof that is making a lot of noise, and that's why things are the way they are. All right, back to Russia.
All right. So yeah,
you just love the Russians.
Right.
You know,
and that has been a problem. I mean, this is back in the day, back in, you know, Ronald Reagan and Barry Goldwater's day.
Okay.
You guys would have been called the Blame America First crowd.
Yeah.
And I'll give you right now that a lot of Democrats, yes indeed, weren't as aggressive on communism as they could have been. I mean, I like my Cold War liberals, you know, John F. Kennedy, Scoop Wallace, all those guys.
Scoop Jackson.
Oh, who was I thinking? There was another
George
one.
Wallace? That's not who you're thinking of.
No, there was a guy named Wallace who was a Cold War liberal.
Probably.
Yeah, I got the two mixed up.
And there were a lot of Democrats who really, you know, were afraid with this country. They just wanted more social programs. They were liberal.
Exactly.
They wanted to advance, and the conservatives said, no, we don't want to put all the money into that. We want to put it into defense savings. You know, but now you got like a whole socialist class coming up that wants to free everything. Well, you know, nothing's free. It's going to cost somebody something. But here's the thing that I find fascinating. Joseph McCarthy. McCarthyism, all right? So Joseph McCarthy was a senator from Wisconsin. They called him Tail Gunner Joe. He was in the back of, I think, a B-17. He was a war hero. Comes back and starts this campaign that there are communists everywhere. There are communists in the State Department. There are communists in Hollywood. They had the House, the HUAC, the House Un-American Activities Committee. So and McCarthy was condemned for saying that everybody was a Russian spy.
Right.
So what are the Democrats doing now? Saying everybody's a Russian spy. Okay? It's what I call Democrat McCarthyism. So you've gone from the point where you condemned Joseph McCarthy for saying everybody was a communist to now saying basically everybody in the Trump administration is colluding with Russia. No, you're not saying they're communists, but it's not that different. It's not that much of a stretch to go and say that all of a sudden, well, wait a minute, you know, the Democrats who used to be the ones with the Republicans accused of being communists are now accusing. It's almost like the communist dialectic. You know, take the opposite of what you believe, accuse the other person of doing it, and confuse the whole issue. So that's what I see now is what I call Democrat McCarthyism of trying to make everybody else look like a Russian colluder.
What you got to remember about Joe McCarthy is that although he himself was a crook, he was onto something.
Okay.
We did have a lot of spies.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of people actually that are honored to this day. And I'll admit, a good deal of them were in my party. Some of them were in yours
You're
too.
talking honored in Russia and Hall in Kremlin, great Democrats who helped the Russian society. Armand Hammer, great industrialist. I mean, they loved him over in Russia too.
I mean, yeah, we had communist plants everywhere back in the day. The Rosenbergs were a good example.
Rosenberg gave the atomic secrets to Russia, and that's how they got the bombs.
Right.
About that. So that'll be really interesting, and I think this...
And I'm not sorry for what happened to them.
No, they were executed.
Yeah, the point I'm making in my historic reference is that it's similar to that, in that although we can't lose our minds in the way that Joe McCarthy did, there is indeed a Russian threat, just like there was then.
Then how, the thing to do, why can't the folks in Washington do what we're doing? I mean, you are as close to leftist progressive socialists, and I'm beyond conservative. I'm very much of a constitutional libertarian, and we're talking about this in the same way. We both love this country, okay? There's no question about that. But what we need to do is unite as Americans against a Russian threat to our elections. Now, it's like sibling rivalry. If Republicans and Democrats argue and bicker and scream and yell and do false commercials and lie about the other party, that's us. That's like our family, okay? But when the Russians come in, it's like the kid down the street who's trying to break up a fight between you and your brother. It doesn't work, okay? Because then you pick on them. So I wish we could do that. We should be going after Russia for whatever they're doing and saying and get away from the politics of it. But the problem is you've got two parallel investigations going on.
Right? A lot of bipartisan legislation has been put through to try to condemn Russia, protect us from Russia, and it's generally, and I know you're no more fond of them than I am, but it's McConnell and Ryan who are always shutting it down.
That's a good point.
The Republican establishment.
Well, and I sometimes see the Capitol as establishment versus regular folks. So we're like the regular folks anyway. We don't have titles, we don't have power, we have a YouTube and a video, which is kind of cool. But as far as things go, and I used to have a radio show. I'm looking for another one. So feel free to contact me at the Greg and Donny News Show. Leave us a message. But the thing is, we don't. We're still accusing each other. Right. And getting back to McConnell, here's the thing too. You're not going to find among the, as I said, the rank and file, which always struck me as a military term, because ranks are this way and files are all right. So those regular folks are not really thrilled with McConnell or Paul Ryan. Especially Paul Ryan had like a separate agenda for the president. So he'll just, with that sweet little smile, say, oh, by the way, yes, we're going to bypass the president's agenda because we don't care, because we're going to do what we want. And all this stuff's getting stuck. And the House has a lot more passed than the Senate does. Senate has stuff, but the only thing McConnell's done really well is get a lot of judges through. But, which brings up the other problem, is the judges are too powerful. We need to address that too. But you're absolutely right. The people that are, it's like the Republicans act like Republicans when they have no chance of winning anything. It's like they talk tough about cutting the budget, reducing the national debt, doing all the things that they want to do as Republicans, but when it comes to actually, when they're in power, then they go back to spending big. And the defense authorization is, huge. And the budgets that they pass, the continuing resolutions, are insane. And, Congressman Gaetz voted against those. So the problem is it doesn't matter who's in power, the national debt's still increasing. The entitlement reform's not getting done. We're still blaming the Russians and focusing on that, but we need to focus on the bigger problems. And I got a whole list of bigger problems here. We should, how are we doing here? Yeah, we're going to go for a little bit longer. But we should, we should probably take advantage of the dryness that we have right now to, what do you got? What do you got for this week?
Well, before we really move on from Russia, I just want to say,
I used it like 3 times. We got comments or no? Can you get our comments? We got a bunch coming in.
None on there.
Okay. So we gotta fix your phone. Is it not getting onto our Facebook broadcast?
No, it's on.
Okay. Just leave it in the middle here. That way I can look at it when you're.
We have one comment, and it was just someone who commented an emoji.
Okay. We like emojis, that's fine. Yeah, we do that too. It's early. This is our earliest show ever. I mean, in fact, next Saturday we're going to be at
evening show.
An evening show. We're going to be at Taco Stand. We'll give you more details as we work them out. See, spoke too soon. What if they can hear the rain? So, getting back to Russia. We want to leave that topic. I got other stuff here for us to talk about, okay?
Oh yeah, I got some good ones.
But the liberal wants to talk more about Russia. All right, go ahead.
I just was, because I don't want us to downplay the threat there. I mean, there are specific
what threat is there?
There are specific Americans that we almost know colluded. We have Don Jr.'s meeting that everyone's trying to cover.
That was a setup. That's being proven to be a complete setup. The woman who met with them was meeting with they had Bobby Jindal had a picture with her, on Fox News. That's proving to be such a setup. But here's the thing: why are you worried more about this imaginary collusion and going after it, even though there's no evidence, there's no probable cause, than you are about Hillary selling 20% of our uranium to Russia? Uranium that could end up on North Korean missiles aimed at us. That's the part I don't understand.
Well, even Fox News has said that was exaggerated. But it's like I've said.
Wait, what was exaggerated?
me in one story. Shepard Smith did a whole story on it.
Shepard Smith is a liberal. He should be on CNN, the Korean news network. Hold on, take it up. Rain delay. We're at the Fish House. In fact, this is weather suitable for fish only.
Yes.
And so we're taking a little break. So look you see this little big wave of rain out there. If we panned around, you'd see all this good stuff out here. It's pretty incredible. It's not bad at all. All right, so go ahead.
I myself am getting bored with the Russia thing too.
I'm getting bored with the. Are you guys getting bored with the Russia thing?
But yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing the crooks on both sides locked up. I'll give you. You can't get more crooked than Bill and Hillary unless your name is Donald Trump.
Well, no. See, the first part you're right. You can't get more crooked than Bill and Hillary. I mean, they've been crooked for
They're
decades.
all on the same team.
Well, now that's an interesting thought.
The political establishment. The one candidate they did not want was Bernie Sanders.
Well,
first they wanted Bush and Clinton, then they wanted Rubio and Clinton. And when they realized that couldn't happen, I believe they kind of came to the conclusion that Trump was, I don't know, I think they saw him as kind of a bumbling idiot who wouldn't really...
Nobody believed he was going to get elected.
Yeah.
I was one of the few. I actually thought, and I was a Ted Cruz supporter. That's the name I couldn't think of before. So I supported Ted Cruz for a long time because I thought he was the one who was going to be most closely operate within the Constitution, which is my primary criteria for... you should... You know, I should probably turn this thing a little bit over. Yeah, slide just touch in. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so we'll get you into the... And I'm going to slide just a bit out over here because we got room on the sides. There we go. But Ted Cruz is good. But as it looked like Ted was not going to win the nomination, I'm looking at Donald Trump and I'm thinking, he could win this. In fact, I wrote an article on Canada Free Press, you know, for a friend of mine. He said, aren't you tired of apologizing for Donald Trump? I'm like, no. And I wrote down all the reasons that I thought he was going to win. The wall, immigration, you know, being fearless, not being able to be bribed, you know, there's no special interest that can go after him, you know, because he doesn't care, he doesn't need the money. You know, so I was convinced he would win back in August of 2016, and it was proven to be right on that. So the few people I voted for that actually won, I was kind of impressed. You know, that doesn't happen very often. You got a comment? We got feel free to do comments from Facebook Live.
Said one person saying they could hear the rain.
But you can't hear the. We figured you could hear the rain.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to get a studio.
We are.
We're going to get all official, and we're going to have like a, you know, maybe a nice background. You know, we're going to have controlled conditions. You have our cameras. We know exactly where we're going to be. It's not going to be as much fun as this.
Yeah.
Because this is we don't know what's going. We're out here in the middle of. We saw a police officer walk by a minute ago. So we should let folks know again, for especially Facebook Live, this is where the rally is taking place with Congressman Matt Gaetz, Congressman Ron DeSantis, who's running for governor of Florida, and Congressman Jim Jordan, who's head of the Freedom Caucus, who I assume is running. He is running. Yeah, he'll be running again for his seat in Ohio, which I don't think is in danger. He's actually running for Speaker of the House too, which would be fascinating. So if you break Washington into the establishment and the Mavericks, let's say. Probably not a good name because John McCain always thought of himself as that. But you've got, like, just the people I mentioned, Matt Gaetz, Ron DeSantis, and Jim Jordan will be Mavericks. They're not part of the establishment. You know, they're the ones who are doing the investigating. They've got the second Russian investigation. So you got the Mueller one, which I think is the cover-up of Hillary. And then you've got the other one with Chairman Nunes of Intelligence and Chairman Goodlatte of House Intelligence going after the corrupt officials there. Oh, I know. You know what we should talk about? Go ahead, because you know what I'm going to say, right?
Were you wanting to get into Peter Strzok and John Brennan?
No, I was going to get into security clearance.
Well, yeah, that's pretty much what I'm getting at.
Okay, so Peter Strzok, did his get revoked?
I believe they're working on it. Brennan's was revoked, and they're looking into a bunch of others.
All right, we're going to talk. We'll do security clearances, then we'll take a break. We'll come back. I want to get to Kavanaugh when we come back from our next show. So we'll go another 15 minutes or so. But the thing is, with the security clearances, Trump did it all wrong. He should have just taken all of them, all at once, not made an announcement, and said the following security clearances have been recalled, revoked, denied. And it would have been Brennan, Bruce Orr, Peter Strzok, I forgot the woman who was colluding with him. I like what you said, we're colluding whenever I can. You know, and Brennan and who's the other guy? Clapper, that's what I'm trying to think.
All American heroes.
Yeah. All-American, you know, traitors. No, I don't like to use that word loosely. But these are people that they're from the former administration, okay, who are basically colluding with the former president. So here's a whole collusion we haven't really investigated yet, is the Obama collusion. These people there's no reason to have classified information when you're working for the opposition. And that's the problem. You know, you can't name a single company where if you leave, they say, oh, by the way, don't forget, keep the keys. Keep the keys to the front door. Keep your password. Keep the company email. Nobody does that.
I've been noticing this with what you posted about this all week. You seem to overestimate the extent of what their clearance allows them to do. Like it's not like they can just show up. Hey, I want information on this, this, and this. Ooh, this makes Trump look good. I'm taking it with me. No, they have to be called in specifically for something on their expertise to help the country. And now, if we need one of them for something, we can't do it because they don't have the clearance.
Yeah, but we don't need them for something. Do you know how many people are in the CIA? How many people? We could go back to even Bush administration's versions if we had to. We could go back quite a ways to do that. They're still around. And there are people now, I bet you there are people on duty, CIA stations, we could in different embassies, places that we could recall people. We've got instant communications. We don't need those particular people. In fact, it's customary. Like I remember when Clinton got rid of all the U.S. attorneys. When he took office, he fired all the U.S. attorneys, 93 of them. And you can make the same argument. What about all that expertise they've gained over the years? Well, it didn't matter. He threw them all out. So I don't think that argument holds.
Here's my concern. I've wanted to say this all week. I've been getting ready for it.
I'll just kind of lean out here. Donny wants to...
There's an all-out war on our intelligence committee, or community rather, and I feel like where they are right now, this is the best they've ever been. In the past, the FBI, the CIA, all of them were pretty crooked. And I think in a way that's what Trump wanted back. I think during the election, when everyone was saying that Comey was his guy and the FBI was Trumpland, I think he was excited that he was going to have his own personal J. Edgar Hoover with all these people. And come to find out, they wouldn't play ball because they're all nonpartisan. They all care more about the country than they do who's the president, what's going on in the country. They just want to
protect us. If that were true, I'd be happy with that. If they said to the president, we're nonpartisan, but they're not. You look at Peter Strzok's text, and he's saying, we have to have an insurance policy to make sure Trump doesn't get elected. I think the Mueller Commission is that insurance policy to try and cause trouble for the Trump administration all the time. I'm sure that their mission is not to find anything, but just to keep investigating so the focus stays on them and not on the national debt, how much military we're spending, the fact that China is going crazy around the world. Those things are reported, but they're not the emphasis because all the air in the room is being sucked up by this Mueller Commission. And then we have to have the opposing commission to go after that commission. So you got two very big investigations going on. Mueller's investigating collusion, and a lot of people are investigating Mueller's people, who are all Democrat hack donors, basically.
Not all of them.
Not all.
Well, it's a bipartisan group.
Oh, who's the Republican?
They haven't said yet, but I've only seen a few of them who were these big Democrats, big Clinton donors. I haven't seen anything confirming that all 13 of them are Democrats.
Yeah. Now, you were saying earlier that if Brennan wants to go get something from security, he has to go look at something specific, and he has to talk about that, to look that up. Why would he, considering he doesn't have any power anymore, why would he need to even look at anything secure, considering he's not in the administration? He's certainly not a trusted advisor to the administration. He really doesn't have any need to see anything, secure anymore anyway, does he?
Well, what you got to understand about Brennan is that he's one of those guys. He's been doing this for years. He does more for his country before he gets out of bed than most of us ever do in our lifetime.
Did you work on that all week?
I did.
All right.
So the people who are in right now, there might be things he knows that they're not 100% experts on. He was in there for quite a few presidents.
Then he can brief them, but he doesn't have to have a security clearance.
Well, he does need his security clearance to brief them on these particular things.
Yeah.
And that is why they have their clearance, so that the likes of Brennan can be called back, if need be, and help out.
See, I don't think he's going to help out, though. I think that's the problem. I don't see him, going to all these media outlets and broadcasting and leaking our securities, secrets. Which apparently he's been doing he did even when he was, in the loyal Obama administration. He was still leaking stuff out. So he's been doing this for a long time. So him in particular, he's probably the one leading most want to remove the security clearance from. But security clearances in general, I would like to see just a regular policy where anybody, once they leave office, they lose their security clearance. We've got other people. We've got whole, the CIA and the FBI are like entire departments of thousands of people. I mean, you have to have John Brennan. All right, let me take a look here. See what we got. Go ahead. Your rebuttal, sir.
You got anything?
Go ahead. You know, all right, nothing. We're still working.
Yeah, I mean, I see that argument. I just think it's a real slippery slope.
Well, like in the Obama administration, what did they do with security clearances from the Bush people? Did they extend them? Do you remember?
Yeah,
I don't remember. I mean, I don't know.
To my knowledge, they just kept them, and if they needed anything, they called them in. Standard procedure.
Okay. Tell you what, we're going to hold this here. When we come back, we're going to talk about Judge Kavanaugh, which I've been waiting to do.
Oh, yeah.
All week. I think we covered security. We covered. I had enough of Mueller. We're going to talk about other things from here on out.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to shut this down for now. We're back in about 10, 15 minutes. We're going to start up again. So tell your friends. We're broadcasting live on Facebook. We're going to make another YouTube. We're actually doing both simultaneously. Yeah. We'll check your comments during this time. Anything that we haven't answered, we'll answer in a little bit. And hopefully it won't pour rain on us, so we'll have to take another rain break. So I will be shutting us down here.
All right.
And we'll be right back. I forgot to say who we were.
For those still watching on YouTube, we're the Greg and Donny News Show.
And subscribe.
Yes.
To our YouTube channel. We need you. Share it with your friends. All those things will be good. All right.